This is not an anti-shopping channel, but I am anti-excess, anti-overspending, and anti-you having a trash closet. Hey, welcome to the reintroduction of you. Whether it's your first time or you're returning, I just want to thank you for spending a few minutes of your day with me today. On my channel, we learn how to fall back in love with the closets that we have by decluttering, by learning our personal style, and that way we can invest in things that will make us happy, make our hearts sing for years and years to come. So if these are the kind of things you might be interested in, then why don't you stick around? So I'm excited about what we're going to talk about today, and that is perfume. So a lot of you guys might be thinking, what does perfume have to do with decluttering your closet, learning your personal style, or investing in things? And honestly, I think it actually has to do with all three of those elements. It is decluttering because most of us have way too many fragrances. We get excited about fragrances, and next thing you know, we've amassed so many fragrances that it's overwhelming. It's about personal style because fragrance is personal. What smells good on one person is not going to smell good on another person. So you really have to learn more about what notes work well on you, what notes you like, what notes you want to avoid. So that leans itself to personal style. And then lastly, investing in things that are going to make your heart happy, make you sing for years and years to come. I believe that perfume also can speak to that as well, because perfume can get super expensive. And that is where Arabian fragrances come in. I have several fragrances from T.R.o.Y, but the one that I like more than just anything is the Pistachio Yum Gelato. I think it's 33. All the fragrances have numbers. And I bought a tester of it just to make sure that I liked it, because sometimes you like something in the store and then you get it home and you're like, after it dries down or it doesn't mix well with the lotion that you use or any number of things. But I decided that I actually really, really liked it. So I wanted to purchase a full bottle. However, if you know anything about T.R.o.Y fragrances, you know that one of the things that people complain about more than anything is that they don't last. Smells wonderful for an hour and a half, and then it smells like you just sprayed air on yourself. It just goes away so quickly. And while T.R.o.Y isn't uber expensive for a fragrance, it's expensive enough that you actually would want to make sure that you get some staying power, some lasting power out of it. And so because of that, I ended up going on a deep dive to see what kind of fragrances might actually mimic or come close to the T.R.o.Y Pistachio Yum. So maybe I could get something that was either less expensive or that had longer lasting power. And that's when I ran across Arabian perfumes. So Middle Eastern Arabian perfumes, and hopefully I'm using the right term. Middle Eastern fragrances are actually known for their staying power, for their sillage, which is kind of the trail of loveliness that you kind of leave behind you, even when you leave a room or somebody standing next to you and the wind blows and they get a nice little whiff of your loveliness. So the name of the fragrance that kept coming up over again as being a dupe for the T.R.o.Y Pistachio Yum is called Affection. It's called Affection, and it's part of the Pride collection by the brand Lattafa, which is a very well-known Middle Eastern fragrance brand. And so I went ahead and I ordered it, but I also decided to get the T.R.o.Y from Sephora during the Sephora sale. So that way, if this didn't work out, I still had the T.R.o.Y and at least I would have gotten it on a discount, right? So I got the Lattafa Love Affection, and let me show you something. You see that? It's not even open. There was no reason for me to open it. I decided that I didn't want to open it just in case I needed to return it. And as you can see, it is not open. And the reason why is because Affection smells exactly like K.O.Y Pistachio Yum. So I introduced to you Affection by Lattafa. So first of all, this is the box that it came in. This box, the presentation is so sturdy and beautiful. So it protects it, and it also is something that you could display if you wanted to, if you're into displaying your perfumes. So anyway, we open it up and then we pull out the Affection. Now, I will tell you that I paid, I want to say $45, and this is 3.4 fluid ounces. K.O.Y was 100 for 1.7. So I got double the amount for literally half the price. You might be wondering, like, are there any different notes? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the notes for Affection here and put the notes for K.O.Y Pistachio Rum here, so that you can compare the notes and see that they are very, 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 very similar. And because they are not exactly the same, when you spray Affection, you get a slightly different tone for it. But once it dries down, smells exactly alike. I don't know a nose that would be able to pick up the fact that they're different, because I would venture to say that they are 99.2% spot on. So that means that I was keeping the Affection and returning the K.O.Y because make it make sense. The first time I wore Affection, I actually put it on in the morning, and I put it in the same places, the same amount of sprays, just to test it out. Because if I sprayed 10 of these but only 5 of K.O.Y, that's not a fair comparison, right? So I decided to spray this, the same amount of sprays, in the same places that I normally spray. K.O.Y is usually gone anywhere between 2 to 3 hours. It doesn't last a long time for me. This, I sprayed it before I went to work, and by the time I came home, I could still smell it on my skin. Now, it didn't have a lot of sillage. Like, it's not like people who were, 10 feet from me could smell it. If you were right up on me, you could smell it, but it's not like it had a lot of, backdraft or something. Backdraft. I mean, I guess that's what it is. But you could still smell it, where the K.O.Y would just smell like skin. So that was proof positive to me that it had an immense amount of staying power. One thing that I will let you know, as I have been reading about Arabian or Middle Eastern perfumes, is that there's a process called maceration. Now, there's some confusion between maceration and oxidation, I believe. A lot of people say the maceration is you spray it, when you first get it, spray it 4 or 5 times. 10 times, and then put it somewhere away from the sun, away from heat, and just let it marinate. Maybe instead of macerate, let's call it marinate. You just kind of let it marinate for 4 weeks, 6 weeks. And something about that just slightly changes not only the fragrance, but it actually starts to almost evaporate the alcohol content in it, so it makes your perfume stronger. So if you have noticed, if you had a perfume that you've had for a long time, it actually changes and matures over time, even though it's the same bottle and the same fragrance. And that's why some people call it maceration, some people call it oxidation. I'm gonna say maturation, as in it matures. That's what I'm gonna say. But that is something that is very much advised when it comes to the Arabian fragrances. It's just to spray it, to kind of get oxygen and air through the bottle, and then let it sit back for 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and then bring it back out and really enjoy it for a long time. Even with the K.O.Y Pistachio Yum, I noticed not only did it change color over time, but to me it really did seem like it got stronger, because I have had K.O.Y Pistachio Yum since like late last summer maybe, and it's stronger now than it was then. It still don't last, but that all those notes and things are stronger than it was before. So you can get this stuff on Amazon. Lattafa The brand itself has a website you can get it from. This bottle is a heavy duty metal bottle. You can knock somebody over the head with that. Don't do it. Don't say I did. Don't say I told you. But you can knock somebody over the head with this. This is like a steel bottle. I don't know if it's exactly steel, but it's like a steel bottle. This is actually raised, so there is some kind of texture here that love and the affection and the Lattafa symbol. It's a very well-made fragrance. And the other thing I'll let you know is that there's either a silver or gold or bronze label at the bottom to let you know that it's authentic, because apparently folks is out here duping the dupe. Make it make sense. You're out here duping dupes. Make that make sense. So this is Khamrah, and there are two Khamrahs. There's Khamrah and Khamrah T.R.o.Y. And the T.R.o.Y, I know I'm not pronouncing it right, but the T.R.o.Y lends itself to having a coffee note. So if you're into coffee notes, that might be the one for you. But this is the one that without the coffee note. Other than that, everything else is the same. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and open it up here. And again, the presentation is just beautiful. It's ready for you to display on your shelf. So lift up this box. Mic fell a little bit. And there it is. Now, what does this remind you of? What does this bottle remind you of? You got it. Kilian's Angel's Share. And I was like, I am okay with Angel's Share, but because there were some slightly different notes in this one, I'm like, maybe, just maybe I'll like that one. But the bottle puts you in mind of Angel's Share, and it really is supposed to be a sister, maybe a fraternal twin of Angel's Share, because it doesn't smell exactly alike. I would say that this is about 88% a dupe of Angel's Share. I sprayed it on in the evening and I could still smell it the next day. So part of that though is because this is actually secondhand. I've only sprayed this a few times, but you can see that it's low or lower than full. And I bought secondhand off of Mercari. It has the authenticity, and the seller was very highly rated and had lots of sales. And so I trusted that, I wasn't getting duped or anything like that. So the good thing about this is because the seller already had it, it's already matured. It is already matured. So that's part of the reason I believe that it stayed around for so long and still was very oomphy because it had matured. So this is again Khamrah. It is supposed to be a fraternal twin of Angel's Share, not an identical twin, but a fraternal twin of Angel's Share. And this bottle will run you anywhere between about $30 to $45. And how much is in this bottle? I'm sure it says it somewhere. Yeah, that's strange. This is 3.4. Again, this is glass. Clink, 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 clink. This is not plastic. This is a glass bottle. So again, something you can put on your shelf and display, or even in the box and display. That is one thing about the Middle Eastern fragrances. They are beautiful on display. They come well packaged, and then the bottles themselves are almost works of art in and of themselves. So that is the Khamrah. I just want to encourage you to just maybe explore Middle Eastern fragrances. I think sometimes we get caught up in like being able to say, I bought Tom Ford. Everybody knows Tom Ford is pushing $350. So if you say it's Tom Ford, people already know how much you spent. But if there's a dupe for it that smells just as good and lasts longer and costs a fraction of the price, I'm just saying. So I'm curious, do any of you actually own any Middle Eastern fragrances? And if you do, tell me what it is below. I'm open to So many suggestions. You can buy them directly from the Middle Eastern retailer because Lattafa is just one of many fragrance houses. You can get them from Amazon, or you can go and get on like a secondhand website and just make sure you vet the seller. But you can get them on there as well. I actually have more fragrances, but I didn't want this video to go too long. I actually have more Middle Eastern fragrances that I want to share with you. So I will do that in a future video, but I have a few more that I am absolutely over the moon about. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any comments, suggestions, or you just want to say hello, you know to do it below. But otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye.